All right, welcome back for the last part. I'm hoping you didn't watch all four of these videos on one day, and I'm hoping I can get through this one in one video rather than two. Um, Lots of new stuff here. You've got this example from JavaScript open. I think I still got to do this, so I'm going to go. I'm going to actually use JSBin again. Why not? But I need to get it into JSBin. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to open it first. Open with Notepad. There's that. So I'm going to copy all this. Copy all that into JSBin. New bin. And paste all that down there. Oh, we've got two warnings. And JSBin's pretty nice because there's certain things it likes and doesn't like, and it'll tell you about it. So unnecessary semicolon. So there you go. There's sometimes where I'll put in a semicolon where I don't need one. So this is at the end of our object, our classes. We don't need to actually have a semicolon there. So this code, it's arrays of objects example. It's expanding on our school analogy. We've got three classes in here. One is a student class that has the student class has three things: name, student number, and marks. A teacher template, which is name, room, and department, and then a section class. And remember, these are general. So the idea is that we can use this template to make as many students as we want. We can use this template to make as many teachers as we want. We can use this template here to make as many sections as we want. A section means like a class, right? Where it has a teacher, a student's course code, and set period or whatever. First thing I want to mention is this material here, up to line 30, nothing's going on. Like, not if I were to put some comments in here. Put some comments in here, comment this all out, and run it. What's going on? Nothing. This is all kind of like setting, this is like groundwork almost. We're setting up our cookie cutters, and we haven't done anything with the cookie cutters. Our templates, our classes are like cookie cutters to make students, teachers, and sections. So the rest of the code is in using that. JSBin's nice because it almost runs it automatically and finds your errors right away. So in this first line, we're going to make a new teacher object using our teacher class or teacher template, where restall becomes the name in and then gets put into the name. 176 in computer science, this makes the new object called restall using the teacher template. So this actually makes a new object. What does this do? Student array equals bracket bracket. So right now, this just makes a blank array. It's got nothing attached to it. It could end up being numbers, strings, whatever we want, but this is what we're going to actually use to make our class. And then there's a little loop. It's going to loop from 0 to 4 and it's going to make some students. It's going to make 5 students from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 5 students in total. And it's going to do that. It's going to create that array. Student 0 is equal to a new student, and notice that when it creates this new student, it gives it this is its name, because this first thing ends up being the student name. The second thing, which is 100 plus I. Now, what's 100 plus I? I don't know. That's the student ID. The student ID is the student number, so that's like student 100, student 101, and so on. And then temp marks. Temp marks is just this array of zeros. And so it'll attach for each each student, when they're first made, all the marks are zeros. And notice we could have done whatever we wanted to these marks. We could have made them randomly, you know, randomly generate marks, or we could make them all 100, but we've decided to make all the marks for all the students 0. And then what does the next line do? The next line creates a new section and attaches that student array that we just created to the section. Students in becomes it's an array of students, and then rest all attaches that section as the teacher in. So when we ran the new section, we had to have an array of students and we had to have a teacher. This other stuff isn't run yet, but we'll see it in a second. So back to the note. We haven't even run that code yet because I'm kind of waiting. Nothing happens before line 30. Well, we did show that. Temp marks. Well, we showed that too because that's sort of like a temporary array setting up our that we have 4 marks, all zeros to start with. How many objects are created by this program? Well, let's count them. There's 1. The teacher object was just 1. This loops, we said 5 times. When I is 0, when I is 1, when I is 2, 3, and then 4. Notice when I becomes 5, this thing becomes false, right? Is I less than or equal to 5? No, because hang on, it's true. It's true, so it's actually going to do 6th student. It's going to do it 6 times. So there's 6 made there. I goofed that up when I first went through it. 6 students plus the teacher, and then the last object that it creates is the section object. So there should be 8 objects altogether. 8 objects. Look at the output. Okay, so let's do the output. So look at the output. What is the only output that's produced is console.log ICS4C. And ICS4C, that's the section that we made, and it's going to print out all the things about the section. So let's just check out and see what that looks like. So I'm going to run this. Oh, what's going on here? Well, something is going to. What is the course code? ICS4C. That's the name of the course code. And notice, I didn't see any prompts, but there was one in the constructor. So we'll talk about that soon. Right there, when I constructed the ICS4C section, it made a course code and prompt the user for the course code. So that's pretty cool. I can actually ask the user something and then attach it to an object, just that easy. Okay, and then it did that, did that. And there's all the objects it created. There's the section object, which is one of them. And notice all the students. Here's the array of students that's in the section. There's name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, name 5, and name 6. 6 students, just like we knew. And then also, oh, there's the teacher object, all attached to the ICS4C object, which represents the whole thing. The whole thing is the array of students, the teacher, and the few things that we set. We set the course code, and we also... Hang on. That was the last question here. Why isn't the ICS4C period set? Why hasn't this little bit of code here been run? Well, that's because we actually have to run that method. It's not run automatically. This is a little function that ran automatically. This one we actually have to call. So if we wanted to do that, and oops, what did I do? Line 38. Okay, fine. Get lost. I must have pressed something. Oh, right there. I wanted to press enter. So if I actually wanted to set the period, I'd actually have to call that method, right? I want to call that set period method. And then it'll actually run that code. this is maybe a little bit better than having this pop up without us knowing what's going on. I'm going to clear this and run this again. What's the course code? And I'll say whatever this time. What period does whatever run? Well, it's period 2. And then it prints out everything, including up here the function, and it actually did set the period to 2. Set period, this dot period equals prompt. It set that period to 2. That's pretty cool. So why isn't the ICS4C period set? It's because we never ran that method. And maybe I didn't point that out beforehand. Let's go back. And I know you're ready to shoot me here, but let's just go like this and clear that and run it. What is the course code? Whatever again. And notice that up here when we first ran it, the period wasn't set up here. This code wasn't run, and the period didn't have a value, so it never even printed it out. But once we ran that set period method, it set it, and all was good. It was there again. All right, lots and lots of stuff. Hopefully you got most of that. There's a few exercises. Basically, it's playing around with this code and still getting used to this syntax. This dot syntax is the most important thing about using objects. All right, that's it. Long lesson, maybe the longest ever. But now I think you've got some exercises that should help solidify what we've talked about today.